Yes, I woke up a little swollen today, but that's okay. Story of my life. Anyways, today I want to talk about intention. So, people always misconstrue my website because they don't understand intention. And the reason I put the descriptions that I put on the art that I make is because that is what I am processing while I'm creating the art. Many times I have said and reiterated that all of my various art forms, from poetry to wire wrapping to beaded work to painting to chalk drawings to the clothing that I make to I can't think right now. To my wax, to my soaps, to everything. It is a process of what I am processing myself. Okay, so oftentimes people misconstrue this. Okay, so let's say I'm having a skin issue like I've been having these last couple weeks because the weather's unpredictable and the cold seems to affect and swell my skin. And I've been scratching in my sleep again. So right now I would have made an olive oil, something to reduce inflammation, but also to be able to give my skin back some of that moisture that I'm missing because of the weather fluctuations. Okay, so the intention would be to fix that in myself, to balance that out in myself. That's why people love my acne soaps. Okay, the coffee soaps, because not only do they smell really good, they're great for using in the morning because they wake you up, but because a lot of times acne is caused by stress. I know we don't want to hear that, but it's the body detoxifying itself of those hormones within our body. And oftentimes it can come from stress, at least for me. I break out in hives, I break out in acne, a lot of pimples and things like that when I'm going through stressful situations. And that coffee soap is a way of having my morning routine and actually wanting to do my morning routine. So, as many of you know, I have neurodivergence of many kinds, and I have not been properly diagnosed because it has been an uphill battle with my insurance companies. And this is why I believe that it is important that we get properly diagnosed, because essentially when we do not know where to start. Okay? Diagnoses for me are a roadmap, because I'm always going to attempt all of the natural remedies before I go for the harsher ones, because medication has never treated me very well. On the contrary, it has made it very difficult for me to do things because the side effects are unpredictable at best. So let's talk about intention, okay? So people, and I've said this before, I am not saying that you are doing witchcraft. I'm like, you guys need to stop. But because people often accuse me of doing witchcraft, I have tried to explain, even our cooking is witchcraft. All of the things that we do during cooking is a form of witchcraft. You're putting all these ingredients together, you're throwing them in a pot. Your intention is to keep your family healthy. And even in Latino families, they're like, oh, you must have been mad because your food is spicy, or you must have been distracted because it's bland, or you must be sick because it's salty, or things like that. And it's true, because a lot of times if you're having a nasal problem, you're not going to be able to taste the salt very well in your food. And essentially, your body in particular may need that extra salt, but maybe your entire family does not need it. So, a lot of times, people would take a step back, and this is why communal cooking is often a very good practice when you live in a trustworthy community, because essentially, the food and the taste of the food is congruent to health always, because if you're having a bad or off day, you can take a step back. But this is why we call it witchcraft. It's why they also made that movie, como agua pa chocolate, because you can transfer emotions through the things that you make, whether it's your food, whether it's your soaps, whether it's your candles, whether it is your jewelry and things like that. So essentially, being completely honest about how or what I was processing while I was making these items can allow the person to either connect or disconnect from the item. And I am very particular. If it's not for you, it's not for you. No matter how beautiful that item is and how much you covet it, if you cannot coexist with the story or the intention that was being processed while it was being made, that is not for you. It's also why I never suggest people give my items as gifts for other people. Because essentially, if you don't know the person well enough, you don't know how they're going to receive those intentions. It's also why I tell people not everybody is praying for your well-being. They're praying for what they believe would be best in your life, which it wouldn't necessarily be the right prayer for you. It's why I tell people you call other people witches and demons and blah 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 while you're using psalms as witchcraft when they're meant to be prayers, because you do not understand the psalms that you are praying about. You do not understand the stories behind how they came to be. So often we make this mistake with songs. We play repetitive songs that are actually bad for our psyches, because the intention there is to lower your vibration. A lot of the music mainstream is changing, but a lot of the mainstream music is music that I don't listen to. I can't listen to, because when I do, I feel sick. I feel down. And it's not that I enjoy or love or am obsessed with spiritual music, because I'm not. From time to time, I will still put, songs that have that upbeat thing, but the words oftentimes put me off. So I put the songs with just the music part of it and not necessarily the words. Because essentially the reason they blend that enticing upbeat music with those words is so that you will be addicted to them. No one is saying that you have to change everything in your life to be able to be well or to be able to have better intentions. I don't believe anybody in this world has pure intentions, because we don't understand intention to its full capacity. Some of us understand it much more than others, but we do not understand the power of true intention and how far that can ripple out into the world. When I pray for someone, I don't pray for them like everybody else does. I ask them what it is that their dream is. I hold the grid that they want, and I let it morph itself into whatever that person is going to morph into. Because essentially with growth, their image of what they want is going to continue to grow. So I don't pray for it to be exactly that. I pray for it to grow with the person, for them to receive the knowledge and wisdom to be able to bring that dream into fruition. Because it's a lot of work to do anything that you're trying to create in this world, especially during our current times. Chronically ill individuals understand this. I learned this from a very young age, that life was never going to be easy for someone like me. It was always going to be an uphill battle. And it was my choice to remain soft or let those that hurt me change me. And yes, like everyone else, I have lost control. Who the fuck doesn't? There's a point that you get past your point. But when you know that that wasn't your intention, the guilt is your conscience telling you you did something wrong. Now, there's two forms of guilt. Your natural guilt from doing something that isn't natural to you. So it creates a natural form of guilt. And then there's an unnatural form of guilt, when another person is trying to make you feel guilty for how they felt in the process. or trying to make you feel guilty or shame you into doing something that goes against you, that forces you to abandon yourself. Natural guilt comes from you doing something unnatural to your spirit. Unnatural guilt comes from others trying to impose their views and their structures onto you. Oftentimes, growing up in families that know best, this can become something that really clouds people's intentions. Not only your own intentions, but you start to doubt the intentions of your own parents. Because even though they think they're doing what is best for you, oftentimes they will harm you in the process. My art was always seen as un sueño guajiro, something that is never going to come true. You know, something that is just, you're never going to be able to support yourself. However, in the last couple years, when I am able to work at farmers markets and things like that, I'm able to get everything that I need. Not always through being paid, but a lot of times through trade itself, which essentially is the original way of being able to get your needs met, through trade. Volunteering at farms so I can get the food that I need. Helping others to be able to get housing and things like that. I always walk away when it starts to affect my beliefs, or when the people began to be dishonest, or when my presence was attracting individuals that aren't the kindest. Because if my presence is affecting the situation that we're trying to grow, I need to walk away so that you guys can grow freely. And this also gets misconstrued. But I'm not going to sit there with the battles that you guys are trying to fight, nor am I going to take sides, because to me, teamwork makes the dream work. It's very frustrating and harmful. And what I've always said is my intention in any project that I do is that the project continues to flourish, whether I am there or not. Because otherwise we did not reach what we wanted. Because most of the people, when I join groups, are like, oh, we want unity, we want community, we want this, that. Okay. It means that in any community, it has to be able to survive your lack of presence. Whether it's because you burn out, you get sick, you move on to a bigger, better project, your life changes to the point where you have to move far away, whatever the case may be. If your dream cannot survive you leaving, you've created something that's solely to you, which is fine. Some people, your medicine is exactly that. But it's very hurtful to your communities when you're like, I'm the only one who can do this. No, you fucking are not. You are not. You are the only one who maybe has monetized on it. You are the only one who has had the privilege and the opportunities to be able to have the land or the space or the connections, or even the I'm not going to get into that, but whatever the case may be, you may have had that privilege. And no one is denoting your work, but some people do not have access to the resources that you had. And you have to be grateful about that, but you also have to be aware that with that privilege comes responsibility. The responsibility of having clear intentions. And if we lie about what our intentions are, because essentially the goal is money, it loses its essence. Because everything has an essence. Everything created by man and woman is carrying their spirit in one way or another. It's why all of these machine-made items that we are so obsessed with, or even these machine-made, like overmade clothing or overmade toys or overmade anything becomes so addictive. It's why shopping becomes so addictive, because the intention is not only unclean, the intention is to sell. To sell, to sell, to sell, to sell a part of yourself in the process of making that money. And no one is saying it's a bad thing that you're helping your family survive. I get it. Survival is key in this world. But if you're only focused on your family's survival, you're not focused on community. If you believe that your family is more important than your neighbor's family, you don't care about this earth. Yes, it's more important to you. And this is the one thing that gets misinterpreted with neurodivergent individuals. And I know that there's more to this, because I know it's not just neurodivergent individuals. But I took the saying, treat others the way you want to be treated, very seriously. So I treat everyone equally. I don't give a fuck about hierarchies. I don't care who you are. If you're a disrespectful prick, you're an asshole in my eyes. You don't deserve my respect. And if you think I don't deserve your respect because I say it how it is, that instantly tells me I'm never going to have your respect, because I don't give a fuck about hierarchies. I don't. I believe everyone should be treated equally, because every person who's on top has all of these people who help them get there, and not only help them get there, who continue to maintain the day-to-day labor that it takes to maintain those projects. Yes, they are managing it, and that's a huge deal. Not everybody has the mind power, but that's your contribution. If your mind is the contribution, you can't belittle the person whose hands is the contribution. You can't belittle the person who is putting the words into action or the prayers into life. You cannot belittle the person who lights a candle for you to invite the ancestors or creator to support your dream. Because prayer and song is just as important as everything else. It's why these churches make no sense to me sometimes. They got the prayer and song going, and they're praising things that they believe they should be praising. But their community services are very limited to what they're actually doing for their communities. They're spending tons of money on aparentar, to fill the eyeballs with all of this fancy shit. But they're doing exactly what these artists are doing. They're putting the beautiful song that is catchy, that will make it addicting to you. And then they're putting the words that keep you enslaved to a way of living that is harmful to you, your family, your community, and the earth. And the thing is that we've let it go on for so long that we believe it's right. But I don't know anybody in the lower or middle class families that can really thrive with that way of thinking. Yes, if they're willing to make investments and do this and have investment portfolios, and then they go around belittling the family members that don't have the mind for them, for any of that, instead of teaching them. Because, oh, it was hard for me, it's got to be hard for you, or you don't deserve it. However, you don't think about everything that those family members did for you. Took care of your kids, gave you a home when it was hard for you, when you were struggling to be able to accomplish those things, gave you a ride everywhere you wanted to go, let you borrow their car, gave you a job when you needed it, gave you clothing. You want to belittle your ignorant family members or your friends, but you forget that you slept on their couch when you were building that business portfolio. And even if you don't forget, even if you take those people who helped you with you, a lot of times some of those people feel entitled to your wealth, and then you get resentful. Then there's a resentment because of the hierarchy. And you stop working as a team. And then you start biting each other and destroying each other, taking down each other's reputations. If it's in truth, that's great. If it's to protect the family, and I mean really protect, not to hide secrets so that no one knows that there was pedos in your family, not to hide secrets, to hide the abuse that you were causing to the chronically ill or disabled members of your family, and then claiming that it was togetherness that you were doing. No, you guys lie to some of these elders just to make them feel good about themselves while excluding the people who these elders made sick. And the intention gets clouded. And your family does not progress. When you are gone, your family falls apart because you didn't build community. You built a hierarchy. And anybody who is not willing to play into that hierarchy, who actually treats the world exactly the same, gets swallowed up and eaten, seen as a socialist that doesn't deserve shit. Dude, my mom always taught me where one can eat, two can eat, maybe even three. If you have, then give. But in many times, she was also carrying too many people and then resenting when individuals were not doing the same for her. And I know because I've been there before, and I told her for over 15 years, I don't want to become that doormat, because I was getting resentful. Because when I needed the help and the support, people were just adding more of their shit to it. And then creating stories about what was actually happening. Oh, don't worry about what people say. I'm not worried about what people say. I'm worried about the fact that what they say blocks opportunities, because they go and party and do drugs with these other people. And in order to keep each other's secrets, they take down anybody who might be able to reveal those secrets. And this happens in a lot of religious sects because the intention is not clean. Oh, they know that I was cheating on my wife, so let's either take them down if they won't be paid out, or pay them off. Keep them happy. You're only as sick as your secrets, which means you'll only keep paying for your secrets until you stop caring who knows your secrets. And it's clouded intention. And we have forgotten what it really means to make something for someone. What it really means to make and break bread with each other. What it means to make that olla de café to share with your community. What it means to actually have conversations. Because you wait until that person talks to someone else before you get upset and want to confront them. But when they came to you to try to talk to you about it, oh no, it's not real. I'm going to make sure that I gaslight you until you no longer believe your truth. Too many communities do this. Too many families do this. And because of that, we have the hypocrisy in our presidency that we have today. Because the intention has been clouded. The intention of our forefathers have been clouded, and only some of them, because some of them, this was their intention all along, to have a great white nation. Even the Germans during the World Wars took their example of what the people did to the Native Americans here in the United States. But we are a melting pot of people, and until we learn how to live together, how to work together, and how to allow others to flourish within their own gifts, the intention will always be clouded, and the result will never be what we believe the intention was. It will always be what we did not want to see in the world. because we are not treating others the way we want to be treated. Because I bet you a lot of you would have a fit if people treated you the way. I saw it with my own family. As soon as I started doing exactly what they were doing to me, including my mother, that's when I became the enemy. When I started doing what they were doing to me, I was the evil one. I was the abusive one, even though I never took it as far as they did or initiated physical or verbal attacks. All I did was share my story so that others can be helped. All I did was take my stories and create art from them. But that was witchcraft because I somehow believe I can cure these things. No. Remission does not mean that the problem goes away. It means you learn to live with these things. As you grow, you expand to be able to carry all of these coexisting and often contradicting things inside of you. Because none of us are all light and love, angels and spirits, or demons and devils, darkness and evil. None of us are that. We're a combination. And without our shadow, we would not exist. So integrate that shit in whatever way you want. And don't assume you know a person's intentions if you aren't even willing to ask and have a conversation with them. Because one thing is explaining them, another one is actually living what you are saying. You can say a lot of this and do very little. I love you and have a good day. May all your intentions be true to yourself. May your word be true to your actions. I love you and have a beautiful day.